All
Yeah.
right, turn the recording on. We'll let people in as they come. But today I just want to give you guys some new definitions on marketing and how to think about it, how to think about what you're doing and what the right mix of things are. Now, as I go through this, it's not that there's one right way or one right mix, but what I want to make sure that we get through once we kind of get clear on what's what and the definitions is how and why and when to prioritize. And if you've watched my trainings on the 4 phases of growth or read some posts about it, you'll begin to sort of understand how and why we focus on what when. Because what we want to do is set you up to scale your marketing while respecting your costs. And we want to make sure that at all times we're trying to find what are all the things that we can control. Not because we want to be controlling, but because we want to make sure that we're able to get the desired outcome the most predictably. Now, there's always variables. There's never a perfect, just this is going to happen 100%, but we can control 100% of the actions and the different mix of things, and that will help with a lot of just how we're thinking about things. So without further ado, I'm going to share my slides. Y'all see this? All right. Linear versus non-linear marketing. Before I get into it, does anyone want to guess what is what? Like, does anyone want to like try to take a whack at defining it before I even go further?
Organic versus paid. Or
That's
uh or like, you know what I'm saying? Like leads.
that's partially accurate. Anything
Yeah, I was
else?
just
Anything else?
something about paid advertising versus effort-driven advertising and marketing.
Partially true, though it's more how the effort relates to everything else. But you guys get the basics clearly. Like we kind of know what linear is just like, okay, it's just sort of predictable, one foot in front of the other. Where non-linear could be one foot in front of the other, but then I'm going to take a left and then I'm going to take a right. I'm going to take some shortcuts. It's just kind of all over the place. And the advantages versus disadvantages have to do with that, right? Like it's kind of nice to be able to know, okay, as long as I keep putting one foot in front of the other, I'm probably going to get to where I want to get. But we need to look at the different variables. So before we go too far, I want to look because we're going to come back to this. What are the common marketing and lead gen strategies? I should have added canvassing on here, but you'll get the point as we go. There's pay per lead, there's Google pay per click, there's Facebook ads, there's social media, more organic, like Aaron was saying, there's door knocking, there's getting a really nice website built, there's doing SEO on an ongoing basis, there's sponsorships within your neighborhood, there's referral programs, there's referral partners with other vendors. These are all different ways you can generate leads, and there's more. There's endless ways, really, but these are just some of the general strategies. You can say content marketing for social media posting, like you could add YouTube videos and reels in there if you want. There's all different things, but I want to give a big enough sample size so we can see and understand the difference. Because as we go through what's this and what's that, it actually will probably give you clarity on what the right order should be. Not this is what Brad says the order should be, and instead, this is what logic says the order should be. And that's what I want to help you see and understand, because whether you're referencing the 4 phases of growth that I put out or just trying to think through, well, what type of marketing is this? How do I need to think about the different types of marketing? What could be prioritized now? And what resources do I have? Do I have a lot more money or do I have a lot more time? And it doesn't mean time in regard to like hours spent necessarily. That would be more effort. But instead, it's time in regards to just time. Like, am I good with this taking 12 months to work? If yes, that might be the biggest ROI thing you can do. If no, then we need to work. How many variables can I control? If I start this type of marketing, am I relatively quickly going to be able to see whether it's working or not? Am I going to be able to get clear on what is required to generate a lead with this type of marketing? What are the inputs and what are the outputs? So it's a combination of our 3 resources, let's say, that we want to think about as time, money, and effort. And money and effort are going to kind of be used interchangeably here. Energy could be it. It all kind of is related. Obviously, we're not necessarily thinking in how much time do I as the owner have, but how much runway do I have more? So what is linear and non-linear marketing? Linear marketing, the amount of money or effort you put in is directly correlated with the results. So when you guys are saying paid versus organic, I was like, sort of. Paid is absolutely, in most cases, a form, or paid leads or paid ads, almost always a form of linear marketing. Or there's more than just organic that's linear marketing. There's a lot different of strategies, though sort of a right definition, you could poke holes in it. But linear marketing, the amount of money or effort you put in is directly related or correlated with the results. Non-linear marketing, the amount of money or effort stays the same while the results get greater with time. So we want to look at, okay, I can invest in SEO $2,000 a month for 12 months. It's going to be worse on month 3 than it is on month 12, but the cost is the 2,000 a month is going to remain the same. So you're going to get more for your buck. This is another way of looking at it. Money spent or effort, right? And then just time. At this time, we're here because it's just, okay, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. There's a very direct correlation with time and then money spent. This is, okay, we're curving. We're getting more for the time. The time is getting a higher and higher ROI, higher and higher ROI, and it continues. Brand. This is brand, right? If your brand is doing well, right? Like if your brand means something and your brand is improving, like this is not talking about if your brand sucked or if you got some negative PR, that might be bad. But if your brand is getting better and more well known, then over time, you're going to get more money. Like your results are going to improve. Now, this is not the same time. This axis is not going to be the same because this would be more time. But at some point, this is going to outperform this almost every time in regards to time and effort. Now, I just made these, I'm seeing some issues already with the graph, but the point is, before I go, because I'm realizing it's kind of messy. The point is, as we go, you're going to get more for the money you spend. I messed up the axes, so sorry. That's what I just realized. You're going to get better results. You're going to spend about the same amount of money, but everything's going to end up getting better. The more time you put into it, the more ROI you get. So as we're going, I just looked at, those were the things I was messing with on the slides right before, and I shouldn't have rushed. But advantages of linear. So this is where X equals, like X in equals Y out on, like you can rely on it. Now, this can be effort wise, like, well, on average, I know that if I put out door hangers 7 days a week, if I put out 100 door hangers a day, then I'm going to get on average of 2 calls a day or something. Now, that might not be accurate numbers, but let's just say that's it. Now, the door hangers are kind of acting as branding. So there's an exponential nature to it. There's a nonlinear nature to it, but also in general, it's just like, how much effort am I putting in? How much am I getting out? So if you knew that you can profitably spend $800 to get a $12,000 sale over and over again, wouldn't you do it? Right? So if you knew that, okay, this is what's going to happen. Like if Google ads were not competitive and there was an infinite audience and an infinite amount of searches, and you could spend $800 and you got a sale almost every time, I would not tell you to do anything but scale your Google ads. I wouldn't tell you to mess with the neighborhood marketing. I wouldn't tell you to do any of it, because it would all be extra effort for no reason. Because all you'd have to do is make sure you're good at math, and then make sure you can manage your cash flow or have the proper credit lines. If you knew every time that was going to happen, then that's the ticket. That's what you should focus on. The problem is there's a different search volume. There's a bunch of competition. And so if you're trying to create an average, your average on Google Ads is probably going to be way higher than a number that you can be consistently profitable with. It's going to be really just kind of on the line. So an advantage is you can get a relatively predictable number. A disadvantage is there's a lot of competition. So linear, everyone's going to be wanting, if everyone knows that there's a channel that's untapped, it's going to get just completely destroyed really quickly. If everyone figured out, wow, Home Advisor in Houston is just giving the best leads ever, how long is Home Advisor going to remain a good source of leads? Not that long, because everyone's going to figure out, oh, Home Advisor's the place right now. Word of mouth is going to get around Home Advisor, and then all of a sudden it's going to be flooded. So this is usually like red ocean. Busy, a lot of competition, a lot of people trying to compete for these types of opportunities. But in theory, if you can get an average cost and you can control your numbers, there's a lot of advantages there. Advantages of nonlinear is, while you do not have the ability to necessarily get like immediate returns, it's not like I can just spend $200 today and get $1,000 tomorrow. It takes more time, but the longer you spend putting in the effort, the greater results. Uh-oh. So this is the advantage here. Now, as we're looking at this, I want you guys to think about what we're teaching in the program. There's the door hangers, there's the referral program, there's the canvas, like there's the text message marketing, there's the social media stuff. If you look at the phases, I want you guys to start spending money on Google Ads or Home Advisor or whatever. I don't really care what it is. I do want you to eventually go to nonlinear marketing, because that is where you can get the most control over your growth. But the only time you can do that profitably is when you have other things in place that are naturally going to decrease the cost over time to acquire a customer. The reason referrals are great is because you get a job, you pay for a referral, you close that person, you might be able to get another referral. And then you might be able to get another referral. So over time, your costs are going down and down and down because you're getting more and more referrals. The neighborhood marketing, nonlinear. You get a job and then you work the area and then you get more opportunities around the area. And then you maybe get some referrals from them. That's why it all starts to work together. But we need to think through what the right mix is, because it's not just having one or the other. It's not a choice that you make of, well, I want to do this one. I don't really want to focus on this. Like branding, for instance. Branding might take a while before really aggressively branding all over, doing branding activities or billboards or things like that make you a return. But over time, people drive past the billboard over and over and over again. And that's something that when they Google roofing and they see Peach State, they might be more likely to click on that ad subconsciously even. They might be more likely to answer the door if they know it's probably one of your guys. They might be more likely to call from a door hanger. They might be more likely to save the piece of direct mail because there's already familiarity. You've already accomplished some of the touches. But you have to think, what's the right mix? Because it does have to be a mix, but we need to look really clearly at what's happening. And we already kind of covered this, but one of the best, easiest examples to understand is SEO versus Google Ads. Non-linear, linear. SEO, you might spend anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month, maybe higher. Month 3, maybe you got 5 appointments. Your cost per appointment is $300 to $600. Month 3. On pay-per-click, $1,500 to $300. Your cost per appointment maybe is $200. So 7.5 to 12 appointments. So you're making more, right? 7.5 to 12 appointments for less. If you just looked at it like that, you'd be like, well, yeah, of course, that's better. But then SEO month 12, 20 appointments per month, $75 to $150 an appointment. What do you think happens at month 12 for Google Ads? Still the same dollar amount per appointment, still the same number of appointments. So you have to spend more money to scale this, and you have to wait more time to scale this. What you probably want to do is invest in this to have a baseline so that you can do this. Fund this, essentially. That's why the common package is SEO and Google Ads, SEO and Google Ads, SEO and Google Ads. That's what you hear almost everyone say. But even that isn't going to be enough. Like, that mix is still going to be rough because we're in a situation where Google Ads in 90% of the markets in the country are incredibly expensive. Facebook ads are low quality, so that by the time you actually get an appointment, not always, but often, so the time you actually get an appointment, you spend about the same. You spent maybe $150 to $200 anyways, even if your cost per lead was less. There's so much competition. There's so many people trying to compete for those linear opportunities. Those opportunities that are created from Home Advisor, or Home Advisor's linear, by the way, Facebook ads, Google ads. There's so many people trying to compete. It's expensive. So if you try to fund a non-linear strategy like SEO with a linear strategy like Google ads, you're actually just going to spend more money than if you just did SEO, because you're actually not going to usually acquire people very profitably with Google ads unless you spend a ton of money. Are y'all kind of understanding what I'm saying? I know that we're talking about a lot, but I think it's really important just to understand how this stuff works. And I want to walk you through why we do the things that we do. I want you, my goal for you is to be able to invest in linear strategies. I want you to spend money on Google ads or Facebook ads.
Hey Brad, my bad. I was a little late. Um, Linear would be the SEO and nonlinear is a PPC.
Opposite. Opposite.
Opposite. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
So I want you to be able to spend money on linear strategies because I want you to be able to scale those up. Because you can pretty much use those as a dial. Okay, I'm going to spend more. I'm going to look at my numbers. We're making money. Yeah, I'm going to go from 5,000 a month in ad spend to 7,000 a month in ad spend. Then I'm going to get comfortable there. Then I'm going to go from 7,000 a month to 10,000 a month. And guess what happens when you start spending big numbers like that? You actually end up acquiring customers for less because Google's an auction. So it's a monopoly. But the point is, as you're going, I want you to be able to do that because that's something where you can dial it up. You cannot dial up. You can't control as much. If I said, hey, I want you to scale your referral program, how much could you control that? You can do some, and I encourage you to do some, but all you can do is present your referral program one at a time and hope that you get a job. And you will over time, and it's a great way to do it. But you can't just say, Beth, I want to get more referrals this week. There's only so many things we can do to go get more referrals. I can say, Beth, we need leads. I'm going to turn Facebook ads on. And I'll get leads because I know I have that relatively dialed in. Question, when there is time. Aaron, go ahead. That was you, Aaron, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry. A. What up, Aaron? I can't hear you if you're talking. I think your microphone's not working for some reason, Aaron. All good. We'll get to it. Aaron, yeah, we'll come back to it. So the question is, what do you focus on when? And the answer is both, but you have to think of what makes the most sense. The things that you can really focus on are going to be a combination of linear and nonlinear. So anything that checks both boxes. Every neighborhood marketing strategy that we talk to you about checks both boxes. So if you're doing canvassing around an appointment, that is both linear and nonlinear. It's linear in you're spending about the same amount of time. You could look and say, okay, on average, every 100 door hangers I put out around a build, this is how many I get. This is how many calls I get. Like you can get that pretty dialed in, but also you're building your brand in that case because you're kind of getting more presence. People are seeing you. People might keep the door hanger. There's just a little bit more to it. The direct mail, same thing. We're kind of being able to do more branding, non-linear type of things that will actually convert and kind of behave almost as linear things. So a billboard is a great example of a pretty non-linear. But over time, people see the billboard enough times, then they might either call or other things get easier. That's what we're trying to create with the different neighborhood marketing strategies we talk about. Referral program. That is, in some ways, offering it is linear. How many people did I offer my referral? How many people did I try to get to sign up for my referral program? Okay. On average, I get one referral for every job we do. Okay. But then the next job, you also get a referral. So that time that you spent, that effort that you spent showing someone and talking about your referral program is actually likely to get you not just one referral, but a referral from the referral over time. So over time, you get more and more and more. And that's like why we want to focus on these different things. Because anything where over time you get more, if you spent money or if you spent effort to get into a neighborhood, and then you're able to take that effort that you spent back then, that money or effort, say you spent money to get in there, you got a Google ad, you got into the neighborhood, now you work the neighborhood, you put in a few bits of effort, you get a few appointments around there. Why were you able to get appointments around there? Because you were there for another reason. Like you're kind of combining all the strategies. So we want to make sure to focus on both, but we also want to get to the point where we have enough vehicles to cut our cost per acquisition to decrease the amount spent for per result, which cost per acquisition, cost per appointment, whatever you want to focus on. Cost per acquisition is the one that I think you should focus on. But you decrease the amount that you're spending to get in front of someone. And if you can focus on all those things and have that pretty dialed in, that's when you can go spend money on the linear marketing that doesn't really change. Because even if it costs $2,500 to close a deal from Google Ads, if you put all these other strategies to work triggered by the sale from the $2,500, and all these other things are your little tools to cut your cost per acquisition. You're getting referrals, you're getting different opportunities in the area. You can kind of bite size it down into little chunks of the hybrid linear versus not linear and non-linear strategies. You're able to really get more bang for your buck. And that's what we need to do, is have these things that decrease the cost to get in front of someone so that we can spend more on strategies and channels that are more scalable to get in front of someone. Because the other, like, you could scale door knocking, but the only way to scale door knocking is more time and more people. It's not that much leverage. But scaling Google Ads, if you can find a way to make Google Ads profitable, and if you don't get a lot of traffic on Google Ads, Facebook ads might be the thing. Like, if it's not Facebook ads, you can just go crazy on direct mail. If it's not direct mail, you can use Home Advisor or a paid lead service. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you have the other things to cut the cost and you have whatever the most used source is, like whatever the most scalable paid source is. Let's see, what were you saying? How do you go about knowing when it is worth trying a new channel versus continuing to double down on acquisition channel that is working? So I would say, Aaron, one, a question would be, what type of acquisition channel? So is it like, I'm assuming you're talking about like Home Advisor or paid leads? Is that right? Okay, well, I'll just try to answer it. If you're able to make a channel profitable.
Hey, Brad, it was,
Oh my
it was me
gosh,
that asked
I'm
that
Alex
question.
Aaron. I'm getting so confused. Okay,
I need
the
to
A's,
clarify
I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
Don't change.
Like
If
for
you're,
example,
yeah, go ahead.
like yeah. So like we would, let's say for example, like Facebook's working for us, right? So every month or every couple of weeks, we'll try to increase the budget and we'll try to increase our ad copy to just trying to increase the ROI.
Yeah.
Which I think we continue to do, but eventually it's going to kind of cap out. But at least by then, it'll be as predictable as possible. With that said, if there's extra money, does it make more sense to try to get to that maximum output as quickly as possible with Facebook ads, or be like, hey, let's try a new channel, like you said, direct mail or a cold call center, or hiring a canvasser, stuff like that.
So, yeah, that's a great question.
I think
That's a great question. My suggestion is go one at a time and try to max it out. So until you hit the plateau on Facebook ads, I would keep on dumping money into Facebook ads. And then at the same time, in tandem, make sure and find ways to continue cutting the cost on Facebook ads. So you need to cut the cost for the appointments with the neighborhood marketing and referral strategies and with those types of things. And then continue spending more and more money on the Facebook ads. And make sure you're able to remain profitable. Make sure your cost per acquisition is slowly going down. And then as that happens, the only time you want to turn that off is when you aren't able to, like when the scaling stops. So usually it's just a matter of like, what's the market? So TAM, total adjustable market, for roofing is not the entire city. It's how many people need a new roof, or how many people could maybe buy a roof in the next 2 or 3 months. So you could increase your TAM by advertising to people that might need a roof in 2 years and just try to get in front of them. That would be kind of a branding thing. Or you can find the people who need a new roof now. That's going to be a smaller group of people. So Facebook ads, and Facebook ads kind of a combination as well, like because it's branding to an extent. You see the Facebook ad over and over and over again. But Facebook ads, you keep going until you run out of people, until your leads slow down. Like if your cost per lead goes from $100 to $150 on Facebook, that's fine. But if it like doubles, then you've probably gotten to the point where spending more doesn't make as much sense. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
And then add in other things. You're welcome to add in other things. I don't mind you doing 2 at once, but you just want to make sure that you're able to, we just all have finite amount of money. So I'd rather you put more and more money into Facebook because you know it's working than go experiment for no reason. But the things that you always want to add in and focus on and prioritize are what are the most leveraged things, nonlinear leverage, all kinds of thing, exponential. What are the things where one turns into many? The more of those I can implement as I'm doing these linear strategies, the longer of a runway I'll have. I mean, I've been trying Facebook and Google ads, but I have had poor results. Is there a time where I should hire an agency? So from an agency perspective, the advantage is they know what they're doing. So usually, not always. So you might be able to shorten the amount of time it takes just to figure it out. If you have the time to learn how to run Google ads and you have the time to maybe spend 3 hours a week learning about Google ads until you've spent 20 hours and you're pretty sure you got it, then I would say do that. If you don't have that time, then you hire an agency. Facebook ads, I think for the most part, I would just say run Facebook ads yourself, though I know Alex works with Conrad, I think. That guy has figured some stuff out with Facebook. I don't really know. So that guy has some strategies that I don't understand how they work, but the guy just gets results. I know people in here have used Oh, yeah, but Conrad's good. There's Manuel Bronco, another guy, maybe that's who you're using now. Another guy, yeah, there we go. That guy's got it figured out as well. There's a few people that really are just good at it. They understand the matrix a little bit. John Starry, I know, has used Dima. Dima has such a wealth of knowledge of SEO and has such a skill of helping people implement it that he's able to get quicker results for people generally than an SEO agency, and you just learn it yourself. So you kind of just want to be careful. And it is trial and error. That's the thing. It's really tough to know. The math is always, you always need to consider the management fee, because if you spend a ton on a management fee, that has to go into your cost per appointment, which is going to put more pressure on the other strategies we talk about. The thing is, Aaron, you have a pretty good grasp on the strategies. Like you're consistently getting opportunities in the neighborhoods. You're consistently getting referrals. That's happening. And you actually have a team consistently doing it for you, which is like, that's a clear indicator of phase 2. You have the ability. Yeah. See, you have the ability to cut your management fee plus your ad spend better than most because you've been doing this for a while. You've let enough time go to where you're getting 2 referrals in one day for the same amount of effort daily that someone else might have to get half a referral because you spend more time doing it. So I would say just hire. I'd probably go with Facebook right now. Google ads is crazy recently. I probably wouldn't go too aggressively into that right now. I'd probably try someone for Facebook ads, but like John Starry, I know he's like, Facebook ads have just been a nightmare for him. And he's given it a real shot. I don't want to speak for you, John, but I know that he's tried, and it's just been a mess. So sometimes markets, Facebook ads just don't work very well. So just be ready for that. I think in your market, it will work okay. But I think you're also going to be in a lot of those areas that I know you don't like to be in. So it's catch 22. My straight answer is just hire someone to do it for you and make sure they're doing things well. I'll check in on them if you want.
Hey, is my mic working?
Now it is.
Sick. Okay, awesome. I did have one more question. My initial question. We're trying Angie right now. So I'm trying to pump some money into the linear because we do have the team and all that. So I've done, just to give everybody an idea, we're pretty like good salespeople too. So we're not just like fumbling around, like pretty good. So we've put $3,000 into Angie in the last month, and we have not sold a single job yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. It's been pretty bad. So I'm not, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know when to give up, because in my mind, like we still have a lot, like I always tell my guys, our job is to convert maybes into yeses and nos. So we have all these maybes in our coffer still of like clients, like they're still on the fence or whatever. Even like a 5 or 6 day old lead sometimes can come back in a month or 2. So who knows kind of what the ROI is on it.
What
But
CRM do you use?
I use 2. I use Job Nimbus, and then we use Roofer for proposals and measurements.
Okay. It's Proline, baby. Good plug.
I should I? Should
Yeah.
I want to demo it for sure. I just don't know if my sales guys can handle me switching it over again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal timing to switch a CRM, but maybe it is ideal timing because you could maximize the opportunities. Like that, those automated follow-ups, great example of kind of a weird hybrid as well, because you only have to spend a little bit of time setting them up. And then once they're set up, if you wait enough time, it gets better and better and better.
As we've been talking, I
Yep.
I followed up with about 30 people.
Yeah, non-linear.
I literally had a lady from last October contact me from an automated message from Proline that is moving forward with me. So
Very few
100%
CRMs.
Proline, baby.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean, I thought you were done. I would have known if your camera was on, not to interrupt you, but sorry. I give you John a hard time, I think, weekly.
But I can't look at you and drive because that beautiful face of yours just distracts the shit out of me.
I get it. You know, I got a haircut today, if y'all can't tell, and I'm pretty pumped about it. I think I look good. I look good. But so that's a great example. There's very few CRMs that actually have those types of like that get like, oh yeah, I go close the deal because of my CRM. Like you can be like, I closed the deal because the proposal looked good, but not I closed the deal because my CRM actually is doing the work for me.
Definitely piquing my interest.
Yes.
But-
Well,
but-
especially with like Home Advisor, Facebook ads, automations will be your good friend. Google ads, if you spend money on, I mean, maybe like Google ads isn't like your cost, it'll cost you more money to get a sale on Google ads, like an uncomfortable amount of money.
We're spending like $1,500 a month on Google right now.
Mhm.
And then Facebook's like probably another like 800. And then we've been doing the Angie's List and Thumbtack.
I would turn off Angie's List probably if it's been this bad. That's disappointing though, because I thought that
It's weird. I don't know if it's just the economy or what, but like they've been pretty qualified leads. Like my guy's been doing their in-home presentation every single time. We're not losing the business based off price.
so they're
I don't
not
know.
bad leads. Like, well, they maybe
They're impossible.
are-
Like I'll put it like this. I got like 10 leads in a week or something like that. And I sifted through all of them and we only were able to make it to like 4 or 5 of them in home. Like actually sit down with so conversion rate's pretty bad. Like not it's 50% is pretty good, but
360
spending-
per appointment, right? Per set
it's
up sit down.
it's like 160 to 180 bucks a lead. And they
Yeah.
have a decent credit, like they give some credits and stuff. Like they're better than they used to be on that. But like I had somebody was like the wrong number today and they denied me a credit. So I spent like 2 hours on the phone with Angie's List over the last like probably like week or two now. So it's kind of a pain in the butt.
I would probably push Facebook a little bit. And then, I mean, maybe, I don't know. If you want to like increase the likelihood that you're going to get sales, Google, but you just have to make sure you know that it's going to be,
Yeah.
it's going to put more pressure on cutting the costs with the other strategies.
Yeah. My goal right now is to get all of our guys 1 to 2 leads a day. That's my goal. So we're close. We are achieving that with Angie's List right now. So
but they're not closing.
yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe by the end of the month we'll have it closed. But
I would maybe just wait a little bit, but also like that's pretty discouraging, especially if like that's not how your sales cycles usually are. I mean, cold leads are different. Like they are absolutely different.
we were doing Thumbtack and we were killing it on Thumbtack, but the problem was
Thumbtack
they only
never
gave
stays
me
consistent. I
they would
love
give me like
Thumbtack.
10 leads a month.
Yeah. I love Thumbtack, but it never stays consistent. But it always starts out strong. Yelp too. Yelp starts out strong, and then all of a sudden they hold all your reviews.
I
hostage.
spent 2,000 on Yelp over the last 2 months and got nothing from it. Yelp in my area is really bad.
Facebook probably is the Facebook and Google. Though I'm just not convinced. I feel like Google's going to be like
one
I'm
at all.
worried that not a lot of people are going to be active on Google in your area for some reason.
Yeah, that's why I said I was a little bit afraid of the trial and error. Like I've been spending a ton of money on trial and error in the last couple months.
You're going to get similar quality leads on Facebook as you do on Home Advisor or Angie's List. Google will be higher quality leads, but it's just going to be hard and like it does have an optimization period of at least a month.
The Google guaranteed ones are awesome.
Oh yeah,
We
but
have a
it's so
create.
hard to scale. I wish
Yeah,
it was easier. I mean, there's little hacks.
yeah. It seems like it's like not really. There's no like lever I can pull to make it like to get more of them. It just seems like I set my budget on there right now is like 6,000 a month. Like I just keep cranking it just to hope I get more. But we only get maybe 4 calls from Google guaranteed every month.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that's what makes me think that Google ads won't be crazy for you.
Yeah.
If
It's just yeah, I'm focusing on the linear strategy. I feel like I've definitely gotten some really good progress with the non-linear strategy.
And if you just find like if you continue to look, what is the thing? Try to find it. You might have to try a few things, but what is the thing? Like Aaron, it literally might be handwritten mail. Like it can be that outlandish of a thing.
True.
So it doesn't have to be any of it. It's just something that you can sort of scale. Now, it's all gonna like, I don't know. I think, John, you were about to say something. I'm curious what you were about to say.
I mean, I'm just, as y'all are talking, I'm just grinding it out right now. I'm going through Referral Pro. I'm doing 2 things. I'm controlling what I can control. So we're doing all the things with door hangers, postcards, yard signs. We're setting campaigns for a minimum of a 4x4 campaign. Actually, we're doing more aggressive than 4 weeks. We're doing it typically within a 10-day window or a 5-day window. We're sending out 4 postcards, and somewhere in the middle of that, we're doing a door hanger. Then we're doing yard signs. So that's the physical thing that we're doing. And it's just Clay in Savannah, Cameron in Athens, and they're doing it. We've had some rain. That's not really the big deal. What's driving this? We're just looking at places where we know there's need. And right now, so that's what they're doing in the real world, physical, going out there doing it. So that's the physical thing I can control. And setting expectations for number of yard signs, number of door hangers, and then we support them with postcard campaigns. So we're doing that. So now, right now, as we've been talking, I've been using Roof Quote Pro, going through our old ProLine customers who have been in long-term follow-up for a year or more. And I just got told, no, that's fine. It's an ideal customer. I at least know where they are now, and they have neighbors now. And we already ran a campaign. I ran a campaign with all their neighbors with postcards. So then we run postcards, door hangers, yard signs again. It's an ideal neighborhood. Two different parts of that huge neighborhood. And now I'm using Roof Quote Pro. Somebody filled out, it wasn't address only, but they didn't fill out. It's like the wrong email, and 55555 is the number. So now guess what? I'm going to run postcard campaign, do door hangers, and do yard signs on that street. And so it's between 18 and 25, sometimes 30 homes. We're just doing that. And those are 2 things we're doing: the electronic things I can control, and then the physical things I can control. On top of that, we bought 100 video boxes, and we sent 50 to Savannah and 50 to Athens. And we sent them to basically realtors and insurance agents, which I don't love doing. However, immediately produced leads. Like we had 8 leads today from the video boxes, and that's just new opportunities. We're going to be their roofers for those. I mean, these are new people that I'm from Athens, so I've been there for almost 30 years. Cameron's from Athens too. So, but these are new people I didn't know about that are now centers of influence for us. They're like, I've never seen a video box like this. And our video box is like this. It's a 5x7 box. It's got Captain Planet on the front, and we changed the colors to Peach State Roofing and put a peach in the front in the middle. And it just says the power is yours. And like, what is this? They open it up and it's a video. It's like a 60-second video of Cameron just introducing himself, QR code, Roof Quote Pro. Hey, we're here to serve you. We want to make it easy for you. The power is yours to get a rough ballpark estimate for your roof. So we're providing value that way. And that's been very successful. We have like a 2-week window where we're just obviously calling, emailing, texting. Kathleen does that and then sets a task for Cameron or Clay to do the same thing. And then we put everybody in automation in Proline. So they'll just get reminded every single month directly from Clay's number and directly from Cameron's number. Hey, is Clay with PCA Roofing? If you need anything, we'll do an inspection, we'll do a repair. So we're trying to build that like natural snowball and that trusted roofer for that person that we're just going to continue to reach out to them, never stop.
And it's an example, by the way, of him combining the different like types of approaches. So like the direct mail, especially the neighbors, like that is like very much like, okay, I'm putting $1 in, and over time I'll be able to see roughly how many dollars I get back from that source if I try. I mean, it'll be attribution's tough with all these things, but it's, I mean, close to non-existent, really. But as you go, these types of things, like it's stacking on, and he's kind of combining. Aaron, for you, like the Roof Quote Pro or Roofle or a Roofer CR, or like the instant estimate on Roofer, if you already have that, like that could be, you could create an entire ad campaign around that. I like Roof Quote Pro a lot more, but you could have an entire ad campaign around that, and then send mail to every single person who fills it out. Have your guys go put door, like exactly what John DeLure's saying, because like you kind of just have to figure out like, what is it going to be? What can I begin to scale? And you just have to, like, if you want to compress time, you have to get a good grasp on some linear things, because otherwise you're just waiting. And we want to make sure that you have to wait a little less. Now, obviously, after a while, you might not even need the other strategies. Like you might not need to spend a bunch of money on ads. But it's just,
I just did 6 campaigns as we've been talking, like 6 different targeted streets, not radius, not just like random roads. I'm like looking at the lead source, either inspection or old lead, and then going in Google Maps, Google Street View, looking at the neighbors, understanding that there is actually a need, most likely. And then, yeah, we're running 4x4, like 4 days in a row. For the next 4 days, they're getting 4 different postcards that have picture of Clay's family, picture of Cameron's family on there, and they're different value propositions. And so statistically, out of those 4, they're going to at least see one of them, and then they're going to see a door hanger, and they're going to see a yard sign. And
the conversion mechanism is not just call, it's the easiest thing ever. It's like, right? Quote.
You don't have to talk to us. Just use your phone that you're holding in your hand right now and scan this QR code.
So
when they when they scan that QR code, because we use the roofer version of that, when they scan that QR code, how, like, do you call them right away, or do you wait a couple of days?
There's a Proline automation goes out immediately.
Okay.
Like within a couple seconds, they're going to get a text message and an email. If they don't put their phone and email in there, we're not going to be able to call them. But that's why we like to continue. I don't know about roofers. It's probably the same.
I don't know that they do address. I don't think that's why I think Roof Quote Pro I prefer.
Yeah, the address only thing is a gold mine. Like it's because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, now you have an actual interested party that actually physically. It's hilarious because it's specifically yard signs. He'll put them at stop signs or stoplights. And it's like immediate. It's within a couple minutes when he puts the yard sign, we'll get leads. And so we know, like, oh, okay, well, they live on the road and we know where it is. And then we realize that's a legit road and we'll go in Google Street View and then we'll like, oh, there's 10 other homes that need roofs. So
That's a good idea with the intersections. It's good.
yeah. I mean, and if there's like a loop in a neighborhood, we just go to both stop signs and we just like, you're going to see it. We're going to make sure we're thinking about their traffic flow because you can't just think, depending on the neighborhood, you may be only turning right one way and you'll never see all this stuff over here. That's why it doesn't really make sense a lot of times, in my opinion, to just randomly do a radius because like you may be reaching people wasting dollars.
It's expensive. Yeah.
And you're doing it 4 to 8 times. So it's like a lot of dollars you're wasting. But if it's the same street and you have a yard sign and they saw your truck and then they got door hangers, like you got to do all of it. It just, one thing is not going to work. It's just, people always I would spend like $3,000 on an EDM like postcard campaign. And then I would do it 3 times. So like 10 grand deep and I wouldn't sell a single roof. And I'm like, why? And because you're not doing all of it. It's not consistent. This is so much better. It takes more work because you're targeting it and you're going into dope marketing. You're drawing out that's all I've been doing. I've been drawing out the like custom campaign and like there's 19 homes and we're going to send 4 postcards to those 19 homes.
And effort-based things are linear. So like door knocking would be linear if you're just going and hitting a neighborhood. A lot of these things that John are doing, it's a hybrid. Like the effort part is linear, but he might have to put the effort to put the yard signs in the intersections. That's an example of something that becomes nonlinear. The direct mail, linear. But then maybe some components of it are nonlinear. Door hangers, for sure, linear, because you're going and putting in the effort. But then once he gets that opportunity, then he adds in all these other things to continue working in the snowball. And that's the thing, is like understanding the difference, but also understanding that both are necessary is important. From a marketing perspective, I think the thing that everyone should probably, the nonlinear strategies that everyone should be doing pretty much are probably SEO and having a decent website. Like if you aren't doing that, then while it might take some time, while it might be difficult to scale, like that's something where eventually that will be a huge ROI. But if it's going to take a year, then you need to really, really work your ass off with other strategies. You have to put in more effort or money somewhere. And I think ideally, in a perfect world, you could just put money in and then do the 4 growth engines and the referrals, and that's it. And sometimes that works. Like in Houston or Dallas, like that would probably be fine. Colorado, that's a weird market in general. Like Denver, you might have trouble. Florida, though, hard. But sometimes Google Ads is enough. But sometimes you spend $3,000 and you get 3 appointments. And then it doesn't really matter how much you're cutting the cost. Like that's hard to scale. Any questions as we're wrapping things up? Or Aaron, if you have
I was just saying, just to kind of wrap up my thoughts, I'm excited. I'm gonna try some more stuff. I'm not feeling discouraged or anything. I'm just like, man, sucks. But I'm excited. I'm gonna get the guys together and I think I'm just gonna double down a little bit more on the linear stuff when it comes to the boots on the ground things instead of just pushing more money.
I have an exercise we can do, or you can do with your team.
Okay.
And anyone can do this, right? Make this effort. Sorry, terrible. Money, time. And then actually, yeah, like length, not not how much time do I have in a day. Thanks, John. Appreciate you. So think like, okay, what's effort based? What's like just almost fully effort based? I would say canvassing, like door hangers, uh maybe a little bit some of the manual stuff that John's talking about with direct mail, but for the most part, that's going to just be money, Facebook, PPC, EPL, paper lead, and time, or just say non-linear. You could say like networking, like networking events, or a combination maybe would be like what John did, the video boxes to realtors. So try to figure out like what's what and just get clear and make sure as you're kind of going through what you could be doing that you're just clear on what your different options are, just so you can kind of look through, okay, what can I try? What have I tried? What can I try? What can I try harder on? And what do we like want to do? Like as you're brainstorming with your team, just trying to get clear on like, okay, this is effort based. If I stack too many of these in, then my team's just not going to be able to do it. Like the effort based, that's going to be either you and how much like time in a day do you have, or how much time and willingness in a day do your salespeople have. Money based, finite as well. Like how much money am I really willing to spend? Time based is, okay, how much time in a day can I spend, and then how long can I wait? And so you want to kind of try to get clear on like just being able to basically categorize those things, and then just kind of try one by one things that work. I mean, John's example of using the Roof Quote Pro with the direct mail campaign, then the door hangers, it's a good hybrid. That's usually going to work the best, but that's going to be a lot of effort. So just try to get clear on that. What's up, John? Were you trying to say something?
I'd be interested in seeing what these video box things look like, man.
Yeah, I think he sent us a picture. I'll see if I can get him to post it or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We had a it's a roofing supply company send us one, and I was like, that's super cool. It makes me want to use them.
I think they're pretty expensive. So
They are. They're like, I think they're like $15 a piece or something.
Yeah.
Or more maybe, but
yeah, so you just have to get a really good list that you're sending them to. Like you have to make sure, okay, I know this isn't just the realtor that does one job, like that does one house a year. This is the realtor that's doing 5 houses a month. Like you just have to make sure you're finding the right people for that.
thanks so much, Brad. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of you guys.
Of course. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Any questions, just let us know. Any thoughts, or if you just want to look through your mix, hit us up. We'll schedule something. Thank you guys.